40 chess. Yeah. 40 chess. 40 chess. Let's get it.
Yo, is that T-Dog?
40 chess. 40 chess. Hey. 40 chess. This a trade show. Patreon where the trades go. Tap in and watch. That's what you came for. Ain't gotta say my name. They know my name, bro.
What's good, man?
We got McNutted and ATM. Always start off the show with a trade from them. You should always make sure that your trade is in. Patreon, why not be a Patreon? Know you wish you could spend every day with them. Tap in and say what you gon' say with them. South Harmon can fill up a stadium. Next time you log in, make sure that you bring a friend. We about to kick off, let the day begin. Go follow the socials. 40 Chess FF is posted. If your trade is an F, you get roasted. Go like and subscribe for the crew. Apple, Spotify, and the YouTube. You know Cooper got the WoRP too. Let us give you a walkthrough. 40 Chess. This is 40 Chess.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back into the Dynasty Trade Show. So glad you could join us. Today we got a good one. We're going to talk about Mr. Josh Allen, WoRP royalty, and that's Josh Allen who plays quarterback. I know, Adam, you and I are getting more and more into IDP leagues, but the other Josh Allen, the guy who throws the ball, not the one trying to tackle the quarterbacks. But first, you want your deals featured? Patreon.com/South Harmon. $5 get you access to the Trade Show channel, as well as a bunch of other perks. We got tiers for everybody, no matter what you want to spend. We really do appreciate the support, and I can guarantee you it is one of the best, if not the best, Dynasty communities there is. That Discord is always popping. And if you don't want to sign up, completely fine, but do us a real solid. You like our content, you want to support us, go down, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and comment away. Engage with us. Let us know what you think about these deals, any good, any bad. Adam, I see you are really pounding the shit out of that new Red Bull.
Yeah, man, it's good. Listen, I got to get hyped up for this one because you got me excited. This is a pear cinnamon, all right, for those who want to know. Winter's here. Winter is coming. So let's go get to it, Mike.
I'll tell you what. Promotion.
Not a paid promotion yet. All right, yet. Red Bull, come on. Gives you wings. Let's go. Happily give you wings. But Mike hit all the good stuff, man. Let's get right into it. You know, Mike, I'm not even going to – this is on me this time. I didn't get Blitz my deal in time. So we start off with you, all right? We start off with you. And let's see. I mean, the fact that you can still acquire one Tyreek Hill to me is still amazing, Mike. Tyreek Hill, Zach Moss, Khalil Shakir. For those that are counting, you know, with the math, Tyreek Hill, absolutely worth a first, probably worth a couple. But you're looking and you're saying Moss and Shakir ain't worth all that much, but we got 2 firsts on the other side. Let's see how the math adds up, Mike. We got a 12-team Superflex tiered PPR, 0.5 tight end premium. So that's going to be one of these tiered PPR leagues with the half-point tight end premium. That's not a crazy tight end premium. Best ball start 12. Snake balls is the league, one of the OGs. So talk to the people, man.
True tiered PPR too, just so when people know it. Like I always see these people put like tiered PPR that's like half point for a running back catch, 1 point for a wide receiver, or no, I mean tiered PPR. Like the point per catch starts at 0.25, and it's all based on yardage.
every yard at a certain point gets you higher points per catch.
They matter.
Love it.
They matter. Adam, I'm kind of got one of the teams where it's coming out of a rebuild quicker than what I anticipated. Been rebuilding it for a couple years now. And this third year, it was like, all right, this team's doing well. This is also like a QB horde where I didn't trade away a whole lot of quarterbacks. I still have like 5 or 6.
It's a QB horde gone long. How about that? Gone long.
And then you just find yourself with all these QBs in best ball, but you also find yourself with a lot of really good skill players. And all of a sudden you're at the top. You're competing. And hey, what does every good competitive team need? Tyreek Hill.
What does every team need? It's not rebuilding. Tyreek Hill.
Right. The third, for Shakir, I don't know, you probably want the third a little bit more. Zach Moss is a nice throw and somebody that I'm willing to buy. He's been producing really well even with Jonathan Taylor back. And I would say the WoRP god himself, Tyreek Hill, at least for this year, is worth every bit of 2 firsts, even in a best ball league. And if you're rebuilding or you're in the middle and you're not really competing, why are you still holding Tyreek Hill, man? if he's fetching these prices, you go out and you just get those first-round picks and you punt this thing to next year. So good move by Big Corey. He's tough to deal with. He's a hard one. He's stingy. But we got it done. Let's see if it results in a championship, which I'm kind of hoping.
Yeah, and these are both your first, right?
Yeah, both of mine.
That's what I thought. And what's interesting though at this point, Mike, because your team is right there. This is one of these teams I thought was going to be better and have a longer run than it did. Right now, I think we're teetering. I think you're a game ahead of me. I'm right on the edge of missing the playoffs or sneaking in. You're, I think, comfortably at like the 5 seed. Probably with this trade now, Tyreek Hill going to this team, even adding Zach Moss in best ball, puts you in a real chance to get a bye, I think, in this league. Certainly you're in the playoffs. I think the big thing to discuss on this trade is Moss is worth a third. I don't even care if Taylor ends up making him relegated to 30-40% snap share. Moss probably still worth a third in a best ball league just because odds of a touchdown, you give him 8-10 carries a game, touchdown odds, he might pop a decent one. Like, he's looked good enough, I think, to still warrant a third in best ball leagues. Shakir, to your point, I think is probably but I would view it almost as a toss-in in this trade. The big bulk of the deal, I would say, that you could make a discussion case for. In lineup leagues, you want to send 2 firsts for Tyreek Hill, no question. In best ball, I still think that's the case to the point you made. However, 2 liquid firsts for 1 piece. Tyreek Hill is probably in best ball leagues one of the very few assets that I'm willing to send that for. That's not a quarterback, right? When we talk non-quarterback skill players, Tyreek Hill's in a very, very select group. Obviously, you're going to put, Chase in that mix and other elite receivers. But for a guy as old as Tyreek Hill, I mean, he could be the singular piece I'll pay 2 firsts for.
Yeah. Also to mention too, got the Tua stack. I did a deal not
even
too
more
long
so.
ago. Yeah, for Tua as well. So Tua Tyreek stack now. I ended up that was I don't know if it was featured on the show. It's kind of tough. Blitz always seems to pull like the ones that I just like my ho-hum trades. You know what I mean? Doesn't pull the spicy ones. Maybe he thinks I got him too bad, so he doesn't want to put them on there. I appreciate it if that's the case too, right? That we don't put all the ones where we.
I do think he's made an effort to make sure that people don't feature too much on the show that aren't you and I, because we feature every week. But I do think he's made a point of trying to get trades that are going to possibly drum up better discussion, closer trades, better for future deals for other people out there. And listen, we all love our home run trades. So it's also a good thing I didn't send Blitz that. It's not
I think
actionable.
it might have been put on there. It might have been a week or 2 ago, but I traded away Anthony Richardson, who was part of my QB hoard, from before in the rebuild, and obviously all the nice high draft picks you get.
Yeah,
Hendon Hooker, Slim Nose first, a second, and I got back Hawk and Tua. So if I was already going that way, like getting off of the 0 and AR, I think we might have had that one.
I think we featured that. I could be wrong. We also do so many damn trades on here.
Right, and I'm 40-some leagues. Like I trade like a madman sometimes. So Tyreek stacked with Tua, so we're making the push for it. And the league simulator loves me. They loves me. So hopefully Koopa's got that baby dialed in. Because if it's dialed in, Adam, we got a title in the works right here.
I mean, I just got a trade from Roster Baiter. This is a complete side tangent, but I'll make it quick. He must not know I'm rocking Alvin Kamara's jersey as he's trying to acquire him from me for pennies. All right.
Yeah.
So
it's Roster Baiter, so he always acquires things for pennies.
Come on, Cody. Up the damn offer. At least give me something warrantable. All right, so I would say, Mike, this trade, though, makes sense for both sides. Frankly, if you have Tyreek Hill on and you want to rebuild, it is probably of the utmost importance to move him every single week. Like, you don't want these points being the reason that you end up going from – like for me anyway, I think in value right now, it will shift. But right now for me in value, if I have a chance to secure a top 3 pick versus the 104, like that right there is worth a tremendous amount in Dynasty. So if that's the case, Big Corey, just moving off of Tyreek Hill to get you a better chance at that is huge. All right, so Mike, let's get into the next deal here. I love this. You can hate Blitz's pools all you want, but this one, I love getting some Puka love with Mike on here. We just had a Campus to Canton pod where another Puka love was Mighty Booch is Chris Godwin, 24 second, and a 24 first. Now, this is a lineup start 9, 12-team Superflex PPR, lineup start 9, Golden Goats. Chris Godwin, talented kid. We've seen some monster fantasy seasons. He's not having one this year. And then a first and a second, or Puka Nacua.
This is tough here. It all hinges on where those picks are, right? Where that first projects. If this is just a late first and, second and start 9, even in like the early ones, I mean, they have value, obviously, but you're not really penciling an early second right into your start 9 lineup as a contender. So, Adam, it just depends on where this first lands for me. If this is, mid to early, potentially, give me the Godwin, the second, and in that side, and see you, Puka. See you.
I'm going to be honest. I think this is one of these trades where I could make the case for either side. Just by the way it's structured, Mike, if you want to pull up and do the, the homework digging while I talk through this, I just think the way it's structured, Mike, to me, it lends itself for me to believe that this is a late first, right? So you see the first that's going away is Dogzats. The second coming in is, Badake or Badake. I don't know half these names. I make myself look stupid trying to say them out loud every time.
I love it.
I always do. Chris Godwin, to me, Mike, is an interesting one. I actually purchased him in a best ball league this year. This week. In a lineup start 9, if I was rebuilding, I could make the case for this even if it's late. However, it's very close, right? Because I believe Puka is cemented himself in a top 15 dynasty wide receiver discussion in a lineup start 9. Like, that's a piece at his age range that I really don't ever want to move without getting true big-time value back. The one thing about Godwin that is interesting for me and troublesome, I guess I should say, if Baker has a chance to secure the starting quarterback position in Tampa next year, like, I don't know, their chemistry and their connection just hasn't been it, man. Maybe Evans is getting a year older and him and Godwin finally get on the same page. Godwin's had some pretty high target games, Mike, but really he's been either an afterthought or they haven't been able to connect and get on the same wavelength. So, like, that's a worrisome part for me, but at the same time, Godwin is he's starting to get into that range. We talk about it, Mike. You get to that 26 range, and it's, what are you doing for me right now? He's almost a staple, a perfect example of us talking about when you get to his age range, and if you don't produce, people start throwing you to the wolves. And imagine like a year or two ago telling someone Chris Godwin's going to be in a trade as a throw-in for a guy that's a late-round draft pick. Here we go, man. Here we go. So I think if that's a late, and I think if that's a late one, the last thing I'll say is I would say this is about top dollar for me. But if you can tell me for sure that 24 first is going to end up on the late side, I could push this in for Puka Nacua.
It looks pretty good for Dog's Hut, right? We're talking the last 4 picks of a 12-team league, so it's pretty much just kind of locked into being a heavy playoff contenders first. So
okay, I would also say
now. I mean, I'm definitely not going to go out here and say that even with the Puka Nacua addition, the simulator still puts him in like third. No matter how you really look at it, he's in third now, so he just kind of finishes in the same spot. So it's not like a 111, 112, but it's a lineup league. Adam variance is crazy, so it's ridiculous.
Yeah, the one thing that's interesting about that is if Dog's Out doesn't earn a bye, Mike, and you're telling me it's not this clear-cut top-tier team, this could end up 107 too, right?
Very well could be.
Right, you get in there, you sneak in, you don't have the bye, you think you're real good. All of a sudden, that 6 seed you're playing has a monster week, and Puka's down, and whatever else on his team has bad weeks. That's one of the big things I love securing a bye is just that extra, I'm good for one more week. I think this is actually a pretty damn good trade on value, man. I think I could make the case for either side. If I'm rebuilding, like, I don't love getting off of Puka in a lineup start 9, but if I was to do it, this is the type of price I need at least.
The second's going to be early too.
Yeah, that's why by structure it looked like that. So I think this is about as right as rain, man. This is about as right as a trade's going to look for Puka. I don't think two first is something that you'll see very often. I think more often than not, even though I do love Puka Nacua, I'll just take the 2 first, lineup start 9 league. So I think this is about right.
Godwin hadn't been too bad either, right? Just a little bit of defense against him. I mean, he's been tough and he coming off of a down week, but he's been all right. He's still a top 100 WoRP player. And
yes,
even in start 9, top 100 is also me like being generous. He's actually a top 80 WoRP player, so we can narrow it down a little bit more. So
yeah, wide receiver 40 on the year. So you want to talk about flat tiers though? Now, right. I think your point still stands that he's talented and there's better days ahead. Yes,
he's been Gabe Davis, but
there
a
you
lot
go.
Sexier. And
yeah, exactly.
I don't see people out here arguing a whole lot for Chris Godwin at this point, but
no,
I'm just trying to defend him. Being that the first is late, though, Adam, like I said, I'm going to take the Puka side. Give me the points. So we can be in agreement for once. All right? You don't got to hate me.
Oh, no, it's cool. I'm with you. No, I'm with you. I was just saying, irrelevant, but I would defend him. Mike, I just bought him. I wish I would have had it on here. We could have had a little more Chris Godwin talk. I apologize. That's my fault, Blitz. All right. I want to make sure Blitz didn't get, crushed for something I did. He gets crushed for enough that he does, Poor kid. 12-team Superflex PPR. Lineup start 11. Schumer. What up, Corey? I feel like I can feel and hear the super chat in the background, like telling us to do a shot right now. Huh? Yeah. Justin Herbert and Raheem Mostert on a contender for Watson, Higgins, Pickett. This is slam dunk, man. This is slam dunk for me. What do you think, Mike?
I still love T. Higgins a lot, but Justin Herbert's that dude. So
yep. I'm with you. And it's funny because
not even gonna try this shit.
It's funny though because like T. Higgins had a good game and Chase isn't hurt bad, but he fell on the back and whatever.
Right.
All that doesn't listen. T. Higgins is a nice purchase. It's fine, but I think right now if you tell me that I can get off of Watson and get into a more secure quarterback, I mean Herbert had his worst game. Gosh, it feels like in forever. Just yesterday on primetime, but. It's kind of a irrelevant piece for me. Herbert's locked in top 5. Watson, I think, in market right now, maybe to the point where, Mike, I don't think it's ever going to recover, ever, to a top 6 quarterback. Like, I don't think it's possible.
I think it's possible. I think it's very possible.
To get into the top 5 or 6, though, the reason I cut it off there is because even if he starts playing like those guys, he won't jump them in market. You know what I mean? Like, I think it's Watson's highest end ceiling is getting to the back end of this discussion, right? Like if he starts playing as a WoRP difference maker, he's probably in the right behind Herbert conversation because he's older. And that also doesn't even bake in, man, at this point. People hate this man. I mean, they absolutely hate them, Watson. On the field, off the field, everywhere they hate him. So,
I mean, some people are so childish they won't even say his name or type it out.
See? See what I'm saying? You want him to get up in the top 5. They won't even type his name.
You know who I'm talking about.
I know exactly what you're talking about. You say his name.
But yeah, this is Herbert and Raheem Mostert pretty easily.
I also love Mike. I'll be honest. The fact that you like kind of squeeze. I feel like if you squeeze Mostert into this deal too, like pretty well done. Guy that hasn't had the greatest weeks the last few. All right, Mike. I knew you would love this part. We get Mello 4 times, buddy. 4 times the Mello. So let's try our best here to follow along.
Can we just get Mello in like a voice chat some night? Like,
yeah, I was gonna say if Mello would have shown his face more, if I didn't have to beg him to come into VCs, which we don't do as often anymore, I might put him on the thumbnail, like Mello, right? But no, you ain't getting it, Mello. You lost your chance. Mike, I love the first trade here. Getting off a Heineke, even though it's not much, you get a 3rd and a 4th. Okay, that's what I was hoping for. If I had Heineke in lineup, let me liquidate for something. A 3rd is fine. You add a 4th in. I don't really care about 4ths, but you add it in, fine. Second part of the deal here, right? Selling Mac Jones for Luke Schoonmaker in a 25-second lineup start time. This part, yeah. This part is where like, okay, I am interested. I am wanting to move my Mac Jones. I don't think I'm ready. I know I'm not. I'm not willing to move him for a second in Schoonmaker.
No.
You tell me it's a couple of seconds. You tell me there's like a reasonable different upside for this type of a trade. Okay, fine. Not here. This one, I'll pass on this deal, Mello.
Not with the way like quarterbacks are going down like left and right.
Yeah.
And I'm just giving up that leverage for nothing.
Correct. I don't think you extracted enough back. Although Mac is not a sexy player, I'm not telling you you're going to get some home run deal. It's just not enough for me, frankly.
We're not out here saying you're going to get a first for him.
Right.
We're just saying where's the leverage, because this ain't it. You're trading for a random second in 2025 and Schoonmaker. Yeah, that's bad.
Okay. Now we sneak Blitz in. Now I know why Blitz wants all these in here. He didn't want to just put his on here. It's all making sense now. Okay. Levis, Tannehill, Hollywood Brown, or a 24 first and a 25 second.
I really hate handcuffing anything, but I guess in today's market, if you're going to handcuff something, at least do it in a lineup league where quarterbacks are going down left and right. So just get your Levis and your Tannehill. That part's completely fine.
I feel like there's a 10% chance of baking in the what do you want to call it here? The Vrabel craziness also. Add that into the mix. So, yeah, I'm with you. I think here, acquiring Tannehill when I get Levis doesn't feel the greatest. However, if it gives you a spot start or two when Will Levis is either hurt or they go back to Tannehill, which would be just insane. I can't see it. Hollywood, though, in the deal, Mike, where are you at?
Kyler Murray's coming back, man. He's coming back.
Can't get any worse than what it was with Clayton Tune last week. We know that much.
Yeah, for sure. He's definitely worth more than that 25 second. I would pay more for Hollywood than that, even in a lineup start 10. Still going to be a pretty good flex option for you on a weekly basis. I think in a start 10 lineup, like Will Levis and Ryan Tannehill, either one of them or both of them, the first is a little bit rich still. It's just a little bit, because how sure are we that Will Levis is going to be that difference maker down the road? I like him. I like what I said. And, go out and see if you can't make a deal for him and people want to sell high or whatever the hell it is, in their opinion. I still think he has quite a bit of room to grow. But it might just be a little bit rich depending on where that first is landing. I'm just looking at it from the perspective of it's 111 or 112. Then I go, all right, we're in the ballpark. I could possibly see it, but still know your format. Know its lineup, start 10. Elite quarterbacks run this, not mid quarterbacks. But the Hollywood for the 25 second, by all means, Hollywood on that side. So
yeah,
I like this for Blitz, depending on where the first is. Could change it just a little bit. But if I'm mellow to two pieces that who gives a shit for him on a rebuild, get him off, all of them.
I was just going to say, this is one of those where I could make the case for either side. I would love to know more about the legit to a quit 99, or to a legit to a quit. So, too legit to quit. I love that. Out here messing my reading up again. But if that pick, Mike, is locked in more on the late side this year, I think it makes a lot of sense. If there's any type of upside in that pick, though, man, I'll take Melo's side here, because as much as I love Levis, I don't really foresee, and I could be wrong. Let me just say I could be wrong. I don't foresee him being this top 10 type asset, and if I have a chance to get an earlier first or a mid to early first for that, I think given his build, I think I'll take the first right now. If it's late, I think I can understand Melo doing this still, but a lot closer for me. I tend to be, though, I'll say this. The reason I kind of want to just lean Melo's side in general is in lineup start 10, I tend to want to be acquiring assets by and large that are going to get me closer to the top, right? It's the opposite of best ball for me, because Levis and Tannehill and Hollywood Brown, when you go to add them to a trade, it's going to be hard to get into elite conversations. You get a first and a second into a trade, I'm already starting to get to wherever I want to go, right? So that's where, just in general, I want to lean his side. Last piece, Mike. Done. Easy, smash. Don't care if it's 26. Don't care what year it is. I want a first for Jordan Love every time.
Yeah. That part was easy. The Mac Jones one I didn't really like. I liked this one moving off. And you saw QB Horde, right? It wasn't the sexiest QB Horde, but he did it. I don't know how much he really leveraged people, but he did okay.
And you know what I like about this is, as much as I don't like it to be mellow, we got to walk through a little bit of a quarterback horde experience for those that still want to know and are curious. Mike, so let's total it up. Let's talk about a quarterback horde and what you get and what you sent. Okay? Was it worth however long you held on to these assets? Heineke, I don't even include in the quarterback horde. He's just a pickup off waivers, and you hope to sell him, right?
It was found money.
Correct.
It was found money.
So I'm going to actually leave that piece out of this quarterback horde deal because I don't think it counts. Yes. Okay? So I'm going to just go Mac Jones, Tannehill, Levis, Jordan Love. There's your quarterback horde, right? Those are the pieces you're moving off of. You grease Hollywood in there. You net a 24 and a 25 first and a 25 second, 25 seconds, and Luke Schoonmaker. Jordan Love, Levis, Tannehill, Hollywood Brown, and Mac Jones gone. 24, a 25, 2 seconds. So it's 2 first, 2 seconds, and Schoonmaker. Did he get enough?
I would have liked to see a little bit more leverage, but in totality, completely fine. You got the assets you wanted back first, and you made your pick this year worse. Might have held on to it. I assume when he went into it, he also tried to compete because he still has like Deebo Samuel and Michael Thomas and Dallas Goedert and shit on his roster, even though he's at the bottom of the ranks. Like, this honestly looks like this was his QB room for attempted title run, and you see how that worked for you, right? Mac Jones and Tannehill and Jordan Love. So didn't work out so good for Melo, but nice of him to go, fuck it, none of these people are staples. These aren't staple assets at the quarterback position in the lineup. Start 10 for me moving forward. Let me get draft picks. And I could turn what wasn't an intended QB horde into a QB horde because I'm the only one willing to just dump every single one of these.
I was just going to say that, dude, because format is huge here, right? Lineup start 10. I want you to just think about this for a second, everybody. Lineup start 10. Mike, I could make the case right now that while we say he sold light on Mac, that every single one of these quarterbacks he's selling doesn't go for a first in this format.
Yeah.
Levis could be the one that would be, like, I could see it the most. Right now, anyone willing to buy Jordan Love for a first, come find me. I don't have any shares, but find somebody. They'll do it. They'll take a first for Love, easy. First for Mac, easy. Tannehill's out of the discussion. And I'll still take a first for Levis typically if I'm in a full rebuild like he's having to do now. So if you just think about the format, and you tell me he's getting 2 firsts and 2 seconds, Mike, for all these quarterbacks, this cast of characters, right?
Right.
I think he did a tremendous job pivoting. Because, Melo, I'm not going to give you credit of a quarterback horde because you didn't mean to. But you pivoted, all right? Nice job.
Nice job. Good job.
Okay, Mike. 2 quarterback league. 12 team, 2 QB, PPR, best ball start, 12 shit auction, 3. Do you want Liebert's side of Taylor, Heineke, and Dobbs? We call this a gross ACL pivot. Danny Dimes, second, third. Or do you want Heineke and Dobbs here?
This is a good move by Koopa. Mm-hmm. Good move to leverage Liebert into paying more than what he should have in reality. This is how you leverage when people lose quarterbacks to ACLs that they were counting on, even in best ball leagues, Adam, which I would actually argue is almost more important. But in lineup leagues, you got to push a button on a quarterback every single week in your Superflex spot if you're really doing it right. So, yeah, this isn't bad. This isn't bad by old Koopa.
No, this is great. Dude, because think about it this way. To me, this trade is – what's wild about it is a second or Dobbs I think is fair. A third or Heineke I think is fair.
I think a second for Dobbs is an overpay.
Well, I mean – you're not getting. What I mean is, you're not getting him for a third. If it's a late second, I think that for Dobbs is fair. Assuming Lieber.
I would try to sell him in that start 16 best ball league that we're in. Like
now, that's fair.
However, 5 weeks, nobody wanted him. All I wanted was a third. Nobody wanted to even give me a third for the guy.
But that's a little different though, because the quarterbacks are to the point we looked at WoRP in that league, right? Because there's so many starters, it's way down the line now. To your point, though, I'm not saying you necessarily are going to liquidate for a second. I just think that's about fair. My point with the whole thing is even if you said it's not, let's just, for the sake of argument, pretend that a second and a third are fair on those 2 pieces. Okay. Dimes is getting added into the deal as the grease piece. I don't care if he's hurt or not, man. That's craziness. Right. That's the point I'm getting to is it's normally a grease piece of a third or a later type pick. You're talking about, albeit a very rough asset given the circumstances of how he played this year and the ACL. That's a great tax piece, man. personally.
Yeah. Tax the hell out of him. Unfortunately,
sorry, Liebert. Down goes Canada, buddy. Down goes Canada. All right.
There he is.
There's the man, the myth, the legend. Joshua Allen. Is this WoRP royalty? Goat Rings is back in the trade house. Mike. A-Rich and Chris Olave.
Yeah.
Or Josh Allen in the third.
First off, Goat Rings. Get 2 more friends. Make this a 12-team league.
There you go.
Just gotta give them a little shot.
They can be weirdos too, right? They can 2 other weirdos, absolutely.
There's plenty of weirdos. We got some in the Discord. This is Josh Allen in the third. Josh Allen is WoRP royalty. Where is he at this year, right? Second WoRP. Where was he at last year? Second WoRP. Where was he at the year before? First in WoRP. Where was he at in 2020? Second WoRP. I don't know if you get any more consistent, Adam. Even Patrick Mahomes, right, who the de facto number 1 quarterback in all the land, even he's got somewhere he's like 4th.
Yeah.
5th.
Yeah.
Josh Allen's like, no, I'm going to be 1 or 2 every single year. Just royalty. Now, what I argue, and I think I argued this in the Discord where we were talking about he had the opportunity to go get Josh Allen or Jalen Hurts. And I said, personally, for me, the heater that Jalen Hurts is on, the number 1 WoRP quarterback would be Jalen Hurts. And plus, my Eagles fandom always kind of shines through. But Josh Allen is by no means a bad choice. Right? You could argue it either way. Mm-hmm. But, yeah, Josh Allen, and somehow he just like squeezes a third in there just because. But Josh Allen's worth every bit of a injured, out for the season Anthony Richardson and a Chris Olave.
Yeah, I think, what's interesting, this 10-team thing would throw it if Olave was playing as we expected him possibly to, right? Because it's 10-team. However, here's the thing. Okay, and the reason I say that, let me just backtrack. In a 10-team league, because the quarterback scarcity is shallower, right? There's not as many teams breaking up all the quarterbacks. It's not as big of a jump relative to like a wide receiver, a high-end one. However, Chris Olave is not playing as a high-end wide receiver at this point, right? So when I factor that part in, this is where Josh Allen is worth it because the other fact of the 10 team is this: the scarcity isn't there, but the WoRP royalty that you just brought up, right? The guys that are hammers still absolutely drive the league, even in 10 teams. So I'll take the Josh Allen side here. I'll say this: it's nice to get a third, and I'm trying to package that in to move into something else because in 10 team, I don't really want to be drafting a lot of third-round picks. But, hell, like you said, man, at this point in this deal, I'd take it without the third. So go ahead. I'll take it. I'll take your third-round pick in 24 and see what I can do with it later.
And so the best part about it is there is some IDP in this league, too. So that third won't be worthless, right? Like it's actually a piece.
Okay, so the third is got a little bump in value with the IDP factored in there. In lineup start 11 leagues, I'll say this too. Last part. I think that if Mike, you got the WoRP. Actually, I'm just thinking of WoRP here in this league.
Mm-hmm.
If Olave, let's say, if that's AJ Brown, what are you thinking here? No. Agreed.
10 team. Not the scarcity at quarterback. It'd be the AJ Brown side. But the fact that like Josh Allen is good in a 10-team league, that just comes down a little bit more. Like he's the 10th overall player in WoRP. Still very good in that elite tier, but AJ Brown is coincidentally number 3.
Yeah. Well, and the reason I wanted to go extreme. Okay, so because AJ Brown is in a league like this, that type of player is in the quarterback conversation. Right, because they're that good.
Right.
Like if you think about a 12-team league. So, and then I think there's another tier of guys you could argue, and then I think Olave's behind that. So that's where even adding A-Rich to me in this deal, sign me up, man. This is too easy.
Well, like think about it too. Olave probably carries dynasty value somewhere in that like top 25, top 30 players, even in this format.
Correct.
Definitely not producing like it, right?
Nope.
But even if he was, say he was, Nico Collins is a top 25 option in WoRP in this league, right? He's sitting there with a nice .825 for your true WoRP, right? 0.8 wins. Josh Allen's a nice .133, right? Like a half a win more, or not a half a win, but a full half point more. So That's kind of the difference that you're talking. Olave is way farther down the list, and Anthony Richardson is not playing at all. So I like the move for goat rings. If you were Saquon D's nuts and you're sitting here looking at it, are you trading away Josh Allen for this if you're not competing?
Personally, I would not. Now, I think you could make – I think if you're doing this, you're betting on – like, I think A-Rich could be in the conversation with a Josh Allen in a future year. So that's why I think you could make the case. I'll just be honest for you. For me, though, Mike, I look at the way that Dynasty kind of works with this receiver cycle. Like, Olave wouldn't be the person I'm doing the bet for because of this. Olave in his rookie season showed me a lot of things that – I mean, me and you went back and forth with Garrett Wilson and Olave. I was still very in on Chris Olave. But I think about when you go into a sophomore slump season relative to expectations, like that, if you look through the history, like the reality for Chris Olave to recover from that in both dynasty value and then also in points per game, not very good, man. It's not that great of a scenario. It's not the rosiest of like Chris Olave has this huge home run win for me down the road because I'd much rather have Josh Allen than A-Rich, as much as I do like A-Rich. So to me, the bet is not worth it because of the Chris Olave factor. If it was a different type receiver, I could probably have a different conversation. For me, it's not because of the Olave side, but it's fair. It's fair if you wanted to do this.
Does that same principle apply then to Garrett Wilson?
Yeah, it does.
Okay. I was just curious. I know some people will go right to the fact that, Aaron Rodgers wasn't there this year, tore his Achilles.
And his market in Dynasty may give him that out. May more so give him that out than does Chris Olave.
He's still following the same category for you.
For me, it does, yes. Right. Yep.
You actually hope that the market on Keep Trade Cut gets excited when A-Rod's back and they jump up way too high on him, and then you go, perfect, now time for you to get the hell off my team. Correct. And then Adam is now featured on the trade show to kick it off.
There you go. Exactly.
Love it. Okay, I'm with you. I think it's fair. I just wanted to make sure that we hash that out too because, some people will look at it and they go, it's the Aaron Rodgers thing. And I could go, well, Derek Carr, hurt his shoulder and didn't want to throw the ball more than 5 yards downfield for majority of the season. So
yeah, I mean, I would say if you ask me who I want, I'll still lean Garrett Wilson. But the principle that I just talked about, it applies to both guys. It applies to a receiver that we see something out of in their rookie year that wasn't necessarily like hammer points per game. So then we're wanting to see that in their sophomore year. And if we don't and there's a letdown, I just think that because you're going to continue to see, man, just think about how it works. You're going to continue to see Jordan Addison's, all these young guys coming. You're going to have a whole other wave of guys coming in next year. Like the excitement, I just think people don't consider this. The excitement now for a guy of Chris Olave and Garrett Wilson who have not done it for 2 years in a row, it doesn't have the same shine. And I don't think people really think about that a lot when it comes to these type of assets.
Do we just lump them all in then, right? Like Drake London would fall into this category now.
Yeah.
It hadn't been a great year for him.
The only thing I'll say about it is this. If somehow one of these guys down the stretch becomes very, very good, like let's say the final 7 games or something, they're in a top 15. If you just filtered by WoRP in those games, they're top 15 options, maybe it changes for one of them, right? But
gotcha.
as it's trending, yes, I agree with Drake London.
If this currently were to continue for the rest of the year, or
correct.
We future cast into further years down the road, and we like what we've seen from Zay Flowers and Puka Nakua and some of these rookies right now, Jordan Addison you mentioned. But if they're we're 8-9 weeks into next year, and it's like they just kind of been mid, man. Gone. See ya.
Yep.
I get you. I'm with you. I think it's the way to play it.
Yep.
Bye, Chris Olave. Bye, AR. Hello.
Chance to get a Josh Allen. If those are the pieces, I just do it typically. All right. Deep C, man. Let me just say this. Deep C, again, this is the way I'm going to continue to phrase it. He's out here making waves. He's making a name for himself. Deep C is acquiring Mike Evans, Raheem Mostert, Curtis Samuel, Mike White. Sending away Nico Collins, Gardner Minshew, Darrell Henderson. This is a 12-team Superflex, 2-quarterback tiered PPR, Best Ball Dynasty start 12. How we can leave the rest of this out, man. This is Stopa's old team, all right? This is how everybody knows this team.
It's Stova's old team. Deep Sea did a great job of piecing it together. Now he leveraged every damn pick that he had for like the next 7 years, I think. I think we might even have some pin.
There's a couple pins. 2027's gone. 28's. It's a 2028 pick swap. We have to figure that out when the pick comes in, you know.
I'm in this league and I'm competing with him, and he tells me about it all the time. Like I want somebody to find somebody who looks at you the same way Deep Sea looks at this league. Maybe you don't. He kind of looks at it like it's the FBI and this thing's on a terrorist watch list.
Listen, he's. I would say it's more like, you know, that your celebrity crush. It's kind of like he stalks it. You know,
I would say so. I saw this deal go down. This is one of the better ones Deep Sea's done. Like I really like it for his side. Getting Mike Evans, Raheem Mostert, Curtis Samuel. The Mike White thing, pass in best ball. I know he's got Tua, but you know how I am with zeros and backup quarterbacks. Like, no, not when you can just go out and find them for, fab, or you can, pick a Tyson Bagent up, or even if you need to. Unfortunately for Liebert got leveraged earlier in the show when he needed one, and there probably wasn't something available. But generally speaking, okay, Adam, yeah. they're available for people. Go, I don't want this dude. Take him, right? It's the Mello trade with Taylor Heineke. Take this piece of shit. I'll take any third, fourth, whatever. Just get him off my team.
I'm gonna just listen. Deep Sea, I think you've done a very good job with the team. You've pushed this into a contender this year. Whether it wins or not, we'll find out. But this is a contending team. You've done a good job given the situation. Over leveraging is something I try not to do. Like even my strongest of strongest teams, I don't typically move picks outside of 25, just because. Man, you fast forward 3 years from now, I don't care how good your team was, because I've seen some of those teams that ain't, and they're needing to rebuild. So I try not to touch 26 unless it's absolutely a smash. My point here is this. Let's get into this specific trade. I mean, it's okay. It's okay. Like, first of all, the Mike White thing makes the deal look like a best ball trade 4 for 3. It isn't. This is a 3 for 3. Let's just.
Right.
Buying insurance isn't that big of a deal for me, frankly. I would rather get quarterbacks that can get into my lineup than I would just have a 0 sit, frankly. Right? If I want injury protection for Tua, I got Gardner Minshew already playing. He's my injury protection. And he could play this week. Yeah, we kill 2 birds with 1 stone. That's exactly what I want to do in best ball. So that's parts. Let me just say it this way. When I look at this trade, Mike, let me ask you just one for one. Let me just go across some things here. Mike Evans or Nico Collins? Who do you want right now in best ball Dynasty League?
Nico.
Agreed. Nico. Okay. Let's go. Now, here's I think, going to be where things are different. Mostert is going to then, for me, probably beat Henderson and Minshew.
Yes, by himself.
Yes. However, I would say this. Samuel, I don't know if he was hurt or not when he made the deal. Was he hurt already?
No, I don't think he was. Well, he might have got banged up that week, but it wasn't like official that he wasn't playing yet.
Yeah. So, I think Samuel, in a healthy situation, playing well, could make this deal understandable for me, right? To take that side. But when I factor in where he's at right now, I honestly, look at this deal as kind of lateral.
I get it. At least for me, when I look at it, though, how I'm projecting it, Kyron's going to be back after the bye. And I never really thought Darrell Henderson, thank you for your service. It was a nice run. Glad you do it. But this is also one of those guys you'd be like, wasn't he just getting 20 carries last week? And then you see that he gets released, right?
Oh, no.
We appreciate you. And now he's back on the free agent streets.
Don't get it twisted, because I'm with you. However, I just look at Henderson and Samuel as what I get out of them weekly, cool. And if they were to go to 0, I already kind of have them penciled in there. Those 2 guys, right?
I pencil in Curtis Samuel at least a little bit above it, right? If you're going to tell me 1 for 1, who do I want, Henderson or Samuel? I would agree there. I just mean I'm kind of putting them both in that bucket of, I know I can't liquidate these pieces. On my best ball teams, they are what they are. And if they go to 0, I'm kind of not shocked. I'm with you. I would rather have Samuel. My point here is this. For me, the Mike White thing is an injury piece that's now holding a 0,
which is not what I want to do. I already have Minshew in as a part of my quarterback room in best ball. Mostert definitely is the reason that you make this trade. If you're doing this trade, the entire thing is based on hitting a Mostert home run for weeks in the playoffs because his dynasty value is nowhere. But as a pushing piece on a contender means a ton, right? So you're basically, in my mind, you're making the bet on Mostert and you're foregoing a lot of the Nico upside to try to get a similar player in contending piece for Mike Evans. So if I was going to give him credit, that's what he's doing, right? He's basically getting off of the Nico age, trying to replicate the same thing with Evans with the idea of getting a hammer in your lineup in Mostert some weeks.
I get you. It's cool. We're recording this on Tuesday, so on Wednesday night, we'll have Alan Seslowski on too, so we can talk to him a little bit about this trade in this league because it's kind of interesting. But I thought it was interesting for Alan too. I didn't quite understand it. This trade went down right after I just handed him an L. So we played this past week. Gave him the business. And this league's weird too in the best ball sense that there's only 4 spots for playoff teams. Right, so playoffs still start at the same time. Right. Week 15 it starts, but you have a 2-week championship, so only 4 are getting in. This knocked Allen a game and a half after this loss, a game and a half out of even making the playoffs in a best ball league. So kind of like, I don't know. I don't mind, if I'm him, selling Evans, Mostert, Samuel, like these pieces. Getting Nico back was cool, but like the rest of it, I think I might have explored other people.
Well, I mean? I'm with you. If you're Allen and you make this move, trying to still make up that game and a half, fine. I actually can understand it still again. I would say this though, if you do this move with the idea of I may miss the playoffs now, I don't think a game and a half out that Allen's looking to rebuild just yet. I think he's trying to stay relevant, and this does though, at least for him. If I was trying to thread the needle, which when I really think about it now. If I tried to thread the needle, I like it because now I can probably sell Minshew because he's the starter for the rest of the year somewhere, right? And then Henderson is the one piece, though. Why? I don't want to take that on. I don't want to take Henderson on.
This is one of those leagues, too, that has a week 13 trade deadline, too. So he's going to have to make a decision here in the next couple of weeks, relatively quick.
Yeah, he's got 4 or 5 weeks still. I mean, I think you can sell a guy like Minshew pretty reasonably.
He's got 3 weeks exactly.
3 weeks. Well, yeah. Well, when you're seeing this, yes. When you're seeing this, you do because this is going to already week 10's about to start. Yeah. So I still think you can sell Minshew to a contender going into the last week of the week 13 pretty easy. Where selling Samuel, selling Mike White, I don't think those are happening at all.
That's fair. You might get forced for him.
Yeah. Well, you could. My point is that. If you try to thread the needle, I can understand it. I think I'd be trying to move Henderson right now. Yeah.
Yeah. Just get off at Henderson before he goes to 0.
Right.
And
do it soon. Hopefully, while he's still considered a starter, you can move him for anything, a 4th, a 3rd, right?
Yeah. Interesting deal between the two. We're going to see how it all shakes out, and it'll shake out with me hoisting a championship trophy. And just, that's what I do.
I love this. I will say this has become a league that I'm not in, that because of the craziness with Stappa, because of this.
I just like to throw shots, man. I just do.
This has become a highlight piece league. This is a main attraction type of a league. Sorry, I almost called him Stoppa. Deep Sea. Way to go, buddy.
You almost called him still. No.
D-Generation X.
What's Blitz doing making the trade show twice here?
I think it was, I think Blitz was sneaky and did a good job because he snuck himself into that mellow quarterback horde. Hey, I just happened to be a part of that quarterback horde. Now here's my deal. And you know what's crazy, Mike? This is how you know Blitz is sharp. I'm going to give him a little credit because we dunk on him all the time. He uses 2 Savage members to be like, listen, these are just their trades. We got to get their deals on the show.
Right.
I love that aspect. That's smart, man. Love that thinking man gif. Christian, go ahead and cue that up.
More than just a hat rack, friend.
Get the Joey one, maybe. Let's get the Joey one in there. Sammy LaPorta or Dallas Goedert and Joe Mixon, man. What you thinking?
Right now, with Goddard being out 4 weeks, you want Sam LaPorta, no question. This is easy. Now let's live in an alternate reality where Dallas Goedert doesn't break his forearm. Best ball, if I'm competing, I'll take the 2-for-1. Mm-hmm. Even though it's Sam LaPorta. It's 0.75 premium. I love Sammy ball game. But if I'm contending, give me another tight end relatively in the range of what Sam LaPorta is scoring or will score or could outscore Sam LaPorta, on multiple weeks. And give me a running back who can just trip and fall in the end zone a few times. So I'd want the 2-for-1. Now you know about it. Hindsight. This is easy Sam LaPorta, no matter if you're a contender or a rebuilder. I would say beforehand it would be a contender versus a rebuilder or asset acquisition type move.
Yeah. I think when Goddard's healthy, we can have a nice little discussion here. I think with him not being healthy, it's ball game. Let me just ask you, though. Let me just ask you this. If you know that Goddard's going to play, let's say, in 4 weeks, like if you thought to yourself, man, I know that my tight end room is going to be okay for the next 4 weeks. Is it? I'm not going to say it's a move you make because it's not market won't dictate this, right? But is it more palatable if you knew that?
No.
Okay. Like I'm just talking more from the sense of if I made this trade, I don't like it today. But if my tight end room is already good enough, I could be like, all right, I'm not going to be killed over this deal. Like my team won't lose a playoff spot because of this deal. But to the point of who won the trade, if with hindsight knowing the Dallas Goedert injury, it's always going to be LaPorta. I'm just thinking if I did make this deal, this is where I talk about this. I'm trying to guess. Let me try to reword this to the point of what my focus is. This is why I talk about de-risking in best ball because Dallas Goedert got hurt immediately after the deal, and I think as long as you build your tight end room appropriately, this doesn't kill your team. That's kind of what I'm talking about here, right? Like. This is why you de-risk yourself because this is already hindsight 2020. We have it in writing. But to your point, Mike, if you made this deal with Goedert healthy, you would take the Goedert side. Goedert gets hurt. Yes, of course you want LaPorta now. But Mixon's good enough to maybe make your running back room better, and you can patchwork the tight end position until Dallas Goedert comes back. I guess is the point I'm trying to get to here.
That's fine. That's fine. Right now, though, the way you look
LaPorta,
at it.
Yes. LaPorta wins this trade. There's no discussion about that. I'm not trying to argue that point, yes.
Yeah. Like, I wouldn't make this deal right now knowing what I know about that. Thinking that, well, in 4 weeks I'll get that.
No. Of course not. Because Sam LaPorta is the tight end 1. Market doesn't dictate you taking a hurt Dallas Goedert and a way down the line Joe Mixon. Not the point I'm making. I'm not saying, hey, this is still the Goedert side. No.
You can still make this trade work in 4 weeks. You know what I mean?
That is the point I'm getting to. Okay. Blitz wins the trade. I'm no debate there. Okay.
It's still palatable in 4 weeks.
That's the point I'm making is that in best ball, I just want people to think about this again. In best ball, you can pivot off of Sam LaPorta, the tight end 1 in Dynasty, take the tight end downgrade or tier down, let's call it. That guy gets immediately hurt, and you could still be okay in best ball if you're built right. That's the point I'm making.
And true, even if it is a 0.75 tight end premium, Adam, like it matters. It matters, okay?
Yeah.
But I don't know how many people this year too, like I've heard, ridicule me for my shitty best ball tight end rooms, and you've seen them, Will Disley's and Colby Parkinson's, Adam.
Yep.
And they're ridiculing me while I'm on top of the league, in first place.
That's one point.
Ball, you could just throw a bunch of shit at the wall sometimes at tight end and get by. So even if you didn't have a good tight end room, just start stacking those turds up, man. Josh Oliver's up in here.
We're gonna have to go down hypocritical lane if you wouldn't at least acknowledge. Because to your point, I think I look at a lot of teams that I'm very, very well built in best ball. I mean, frankly, I did lose this week. In that league, the OG shit league. I can make the case, Mike, this is going to be one of the best teams I'll build in a best ball league. It's ridiculous. And you know what the thing is? If you look, you're going to tell me one position of weakness, and it's tight end. Shoot, man. Irv Smith is my tight end 1, right? But guess what? I don't give a shit. I'm not trying to hammer you home at tight end position. I'm not. I'm beating you at every other position, and you can win tight end by 5 points a week if you want. I just beat you by 50 everywhere else. I don't give a shit. Sam LaPorta is also another piece about him. Blitz is definitely winning this deal. And I want to acquire Sam LaPorta. But Mike, here's the thing. When I've gone out there to try to even sniff around, I always come back to myself in best ball, and I'm like, no, dude, this is a terrible purchase. You're going to end up paying market that is not going to get you points in your lineup worth what you pay. So you're just not. Like, so that's part of the problem with the tight end position in best ball is just on a cost analysis perspective, you're better off patchworking it, man, with the cheap turds than you are paying up for LaPorta and Andrews and Kelce over and over. You want to make one of these purchases here and there. Now, here's the one thing. If you had a great team, Mike, and you made this trade and Sam LaPorta is now in your lineup, oh, you're loving that. This is the type of move I want to get LaPorta for, but typically his price is too high for me.
I'm with you. Like, in reality, Sam LaPorta's having a good year. And Joe Mixon ain't that far off of him from, like, WoRP perspective. You know what I mean?
Exactly. It's kind of the reality of the tight end position. But anyway, all right. This one, I'll be honest with you, Mike. I just stone cold don't understand.
Interesting.
Cain strain. I'll tell you this much, man. We're going to have to go back to biblical days because I think this is where Cain killed Abel, man.
Cain is Abel. Cain
Mike.
killed Abel.
Mike. CJ Stroud is absolute. I would pay Justin Fields and any 24 first that I can guarantee is not 103 or earlier by a country mile for CJ Stroud.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't even give a shit. I don't even give a shit about the rest of these pieces that much, man, right? But like, come on, dude.
Just so the podcast audience get it, it's Tank Bigsby, Luke Musgrave, CJ Stroud, Aiden O'Connell, and a 25-second, if you didn't think I was done, for Justin Fields and a 24 first. Adam's still in disbelief.
I'm truly speechless, Mike, because people are so out on Fields. Like, I'm not out to the degree that a lot of the people in the community seem to be. But, Mike, if I can pivot off of Justin Fields, believe me, I'll do it. Right? Like, a single first and Justin Fields gets you CJ Stroud plus?
I don't understand it, man. This does give AJ Stone 3 first-round picks next year, right? So we kind of hit that first threshold marker, but this first is on the mid to late side. I mean, Kane Strain is doing pretty well for himself right now already, but yeah, he just got another quarterback who's playing really well. I don't understand, Adam. I'm with you. I don't. It made me worried when I looked Kane Strain up, and I'm like, only one sleeper league. And then I see why this might be the only one, right? These might be some friends and family.
It's too good. It's a
I don't know.
I mean, it makes a lot of sense. Why start up a new startup when I can keep doing this, right? Like, look at this thing. This is my prized possession, dude. Just think about this though, Mike. Sincerely, I could make the case that Bigsby, Musgrave don't really actually do anything for my lineup teams, even in start 12. Aiden O'Connell at least maybe I can move, right? Like I like Aiden O'Connell's upside. I just think in lineup, like, I prefer to move if I can, just because I don't think it's ever going to be a difference maker at the position. So, but when you
doesn't have to be too, but I mean, this isn't a bad guy to have as your third quarterback for.
Don't get me wrong, exactly. He could be a body of a replaceable level insert. My point is just I'm trying my best to minimize these three assets and just say, Mike, the fact that I get a second back, like if you told me those other three pieces are there, the fact that I even get a second back, I'm laughing to the bank. A first in Fields is already CJ Stroud. I don't understand, man. Like,
I got nothing.
CJ Stroud is coming off of one of the best performances you've seen from a rookie quarterback. Period. The timing was the craziest part to me. Because, Mike, you tell me this deal gets done in the summer, and I'm like, man, the Fields guy probably won this trade. Like, understand that, you know, there's things to discuss in timing. Timing is insanity here.
Yes.
This is CJ Stroud's coming off of a 50-point game in some leagues, man. I mean, crazy deal.
And I would listen. I'll go out and say it, the best rookie performance we've ever seen at the quarterback position.
I would agree. I think you can argue specific ones, so that's why I put one of the, because someone will say, "Oh, this one." Fine, you can have your pick. My point is, this is absolutely one of the best games you've seen a rookie quarterback play in a already impressive rookie season.
Not even the fact that he's a rookie, okay, and it's the Texans, but watching that game, right, when they cut to it on Red Zone, Texans are in the red zone. Here we go. We're going to go live. He's already had a good game. But when you make a throw that literally makes me audibly, out loud, in a basement, by myself, go, "Oh, shit." Like that dot, that perfect dime he threw to take Dell. I don't know what to do.
I do.
I don't know how to control my emotions.
I do.
Okay?
I smashed my phone accept button on this trade. And Mike, do you see who's sending this?
Yeah. AJ.
Like, that's what I'm trying to make sure. You smash your phone. You break your phone, you get a new one, right? That's why you carry insurance, all right?
You don't even fuck around and do the ATM.
This is even if I knew I could get a better deal with the ATM, this is you just break your phone right now. But Mike, here's the other thing to that point. I will say a part for me of the insane upswing for CJ Stroud that I don't actually think that the community is baking into this, which is the scariest part to me, Mike. Look at everybody on this Texans team. Dameon Pierce, Devin Singletary, Tank Dell, Nico Collins. I mean, you name them. Dalton Schultz, maybe? I mean, not really. My point is, Mike, this is a cast of characters that he's playing with, right? He is significantly elevated Nico Collins to the point where he is a discussion. We say, we'll take him over Mike Evans. That happened because of CJ Stroud. That doesn't happen when it was Davis Mills and these other guys. I think what's being lost is CJ Stroud is playing so good despite mid to low-end talent all around him, everywhere. Like, bake that into CJ Stroud's price, and I'd say you could make a case he's higher in Dynasty.
It's fair. It's fair. Oh, man. I'm just going back, and I love Sleepier, too, because I just get to look at all these AJ Stone deals.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
Sleepier League Management, SouthHarmonFF.com. Go check it out. It's good times, man.
This poor kid. We're gonna go like list off. This is like when you look up a criminal record. Like, how bad is it? No.
Yeah. He really has a thing for some Tank Bigsby though.
Oh, okay. Maybe an Auburn guy.
You trade seconds for Tank Bigsby.
2 seconds.
Just one, but
okay.
One's too much.
Yeah. I could see it, in the offseason. You're like, oh, yeah, Tank's going to have a real role. No, man. And Tank Dell's missed the second discussion since probably week 1.
Yeah.
He's been out of the second discussion for me for quite some time.
And if you tap into Scott Goddard, what he does all the time, like I remember Scott being very vocal about Tank Bigsby, Kendre Miller, like Charbonnet. He's like, I'll take any second you send me right now. And people are like, they were second round picks this year. And he goes, they don't fucking matter to me. The liquidity's more important.
My favorite part of that is like, why? Because you like them? Because you like their profile? I don't give a shit about a profile at running back. Right. Are they getting work or aren't they? And you can make the case all those guys aren't getting work. And guess what?
Scott's a G, man.
I also would have told you because I would have told you on odds, he would end up losing one of those just out of principle, right? One of those guys will end up getting enough work.
One of them's going to hit, and it's going to be the
exactly.
Right. If he would have done that with Achane, right? People were like, "See, this is why." But to go like 4 for 4 or 5 for 5 or whatever.
None of these guys ended up even getting minimalistic work that matters. So
can't do anything.
Their dynasty value's way outrageous. Interesting deal to finish it. Great job, Kane's Train. Just listen, man. I'll tell you this: you can come on the show any time, but I tell this to people. All right, you need to do yourself a favor. I know you're only in one league, but you got to lay low, man. People are going to be looking for you after a deal like that.
I mean, you talked about sending away Justin Fields here quickly before we bounce out of here. Live just came in, hot
off the presses.
Somebody wants my Justin Fields. Breaking news, though, it doesn't involve C.J. Stroud of any kind. It involves Trey Lance, Daniel Jones, and a 4th-round pick.
Oh, I was going to say, what kind of plus can you get with C.J. Stroud?
No, I get 2 broke-ass quarterbacks and a 4th-rounder. So I don't even know how to counter that.
Pass. That's how you counter it. Pass. Just decline.
I appreciate everybody tapping in. This was a good one, Adam. Really like the deal. Some good stuff going down. Blitz, though, I got my eye on you. All right? Gigs up. All right? So you know, I'm watching you.
I got some news for all y'all too. If you can buy Josh Allen, WoRP royalty, I think right about now, if you look at a deal, this is what I'll say with Josh Allen, especially in 12 team. That was a 10 team we looked at, but in 12 team, if you look at the deal and you can make a case to yourself where it's like, this isn't really a bad overpay, it's worth the overpay. If it looks fairish in market, outside of you're losing, an arm and a leg in best ball and you just can't afford the depth, I think you make that deal for Josh Allen. He's too valuable to teams that want to win a title.
Yeah, I'm with him. WoRP royalty.
WoRP royalty, baby.
And crown his ass.
Got news for y'all. Y'all probably seeing a crown on a man, Josh Allen right now.
Well, he is who we thought he was. Good at football. Good for fantasy.
Definitely.
Good for dynasty.
You know what's crazy, Mike? You could maybe argue the football part. They're outside the playoffs right now. You know that? Today.
Nuts, man.
However,
it speaks to how good the AFC is too, though.
I agree. The whole North is in the playoffs right now, for the record. Now,
all 4 of them?
All 4 are in. If it was today, all 4.
Love it.
Now,
congrats, man. Let's just end the season right now.
I would love it. You tell me we're in the playoffs, I'm happy, okay? Especially given how Watson's played and all that. However, the point to definitely hammer home is it doesn't really matter what the Bills' record is. Josh Allen is a stud in fantasy. He's a fantasy stud.
Yes, sir. Well, that's going to do it here for us on the Dynasty Trade Show. Reminder, if you like it, you stuck with us this long, go down, hit the like button, hit the subscribe. There's no reason there should be 40% of you unsubscribed. Either that or you just really hate us, and this is all a ploy to troll the shit out of us, which I madly respect, by the way. But if you made it this long just to troll us and not subscribe, you're a legend in my book, my friend. Adam, that's all I got.
I'm frozen, so we'll see you back here. Same time, same place, next week. We're out of this thing. Peace.
Leave it. Don't even cut that part out. This is amazing.